Hi, thank you for tuning in again. My name is Chrissy Hodges, and I am a mental health advocate, and I live successfully with obsessive compulsive disorder. And I have a radio podcast, which I am happy to announce. I recorded my first live show with Mike Dwyer this week on blogtalkradio.com called Mental Illness Matters. So if you want to check it out, please head to blogtalkradio.com and follow me and listen to the episode because it was pretty fun, for sure. I'm not 100% when it is actually going to air every week, but right now I believe it's going to be Thursdays at 4:30. And this next week I'm super excited because I have a couple hosts that are going to come on and we're going to talk about how they became advocates and what to look forward to when they are co-hosts of the show every single week. So I'm super excited about that. One of the things that we talked about this week on the radio show has really stuck with me, and that is just what to do when people don't really understand what it means to have a mental illness and how we are going to, as advocates, start to change people's minds about what mental illness means. And I know that last week I talked a little bit about in this little video chat about how some people, you could just talk to them until they're blue in the face and then they don't really care, but you've planted some seeds. And I just want to reaffirm that after my chat with Mike on the radio show this week. The power of the story is such a life changer, and it's such a game changer for so many things when it comes to mental health advocacy. It took me so long to be able to come to grips with the fact that I had a mental illness. The first, and I mentioned this on the show, the first reaction that I had when I was diagnosed was relief. Because it was, oh, thank goodness, this wasn't my fault. And number two was terror. Oh my God, I am mentally ill. And that's what I'm going to be deemed for the rest of my life. And there's nothing there for me now. And I stayed in that position for 10 years. And I see that happening all the time. And it wasn't until I decided to step out and tell the story, when I was confident enough inside of who I was, that began to heal. Now that doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't make sense that you start talking about it and you're exposing yourself to more judgment, and you're exposing yourself to people, even, putting more on the cliche of being mentally ill. But what it did is it helps people to identify with what you're going through. 1 in 4 people have a mental illness. What that means is when you talk about what you've been through, even if it doesn't feel significant, even if it doesn't seem significant, you're still able to relate to people that are going through something, or maybe a family member is going through something. You are breaking down walls for them. It's not even for you. It's giving someone else the opportunity to not feel alone. And isn't that all that we're doing here? We just don't want to feel like we have to do any of this alone. So one of the things we talked about on the show this week, and I just wanted to go through in this little mental health Monday chat, is we were talking about what to do when someone's never been exposed to it, and to people with mental illness, and when people aren't exposed to things that they don't understand and are ignorant to, and I don't mean that they're ignorant, but they're ignorant to, then they have a perceived fear of it. That's where we come in. And that's where the story comes in. Now, you and I both know there's plenty of opportunity on a daily basis to interject about our mental illness. Are you serious? I could look at 20 examples today of how many times something was mentioned that crazy, or I'm so OCD, or I'm this or that, or whatever. People are always using those types of terminology. You just have to kind of look on your radar to say, okay, is this the kind of person I want to have a conversation with, and how can I open it up and be respected and be able to tell a story where I can plant some seeds? Because that's the most important part about all of this, is we don't want to set ourselves up for failure. However, at some point, everyone in their life is going to be exposed to it, whether or not it's themselves or a family member or a coworker. It's not up to you to decide whether or not they're empathetic, but it is an opportunity for you to decide whether or not you can say, look at me. I live with this. This is what I deal with. I'm going to plant a seed here to tell you that moving forward, you have the opportunity to understand what I've been through. I mentioned on the radio show, I have no idea what it's like to have cancer. I've never had it. But I've seen friends who've had it. I've seen friends go through treatment and live, and I've seen friends and lost friends that have died from it. However, I've never been able to step in their shoes. But empathy is different. It is being able to look at it from the perspective of someone who's going through it. And the people that let me in to their struggle, and I got to see what it is that they were going through and the fears that they had, helped me to understand going through cancer is different than just having that label and either you win or you lose. We have that opportunity when it comes to mental illness to be able to say, it doesn't have to be what you think it is. My advice for this week is, definitely be cautious who you're sharing it with if you're not confident yet. However, just be real and compassionate. And when you trust in someone enough that you're going to say, I'm going to tell you a story and I want you to hear it, you will plant a seed and it could possibly change their entire outlook. And there you go. You're all of a sudden contributing to an unbelievable advocacy of moving us forward and making mental health more of a priority. So I just wanted to leave you with that. It was so much fun talking about that on the radio this week, and I hope you can tune in. Go to blogtalkradio.com and go to Mental Illness Matters, and then click on the episode with me and Mike Dwyer. And go to the Stigma of Mental Illness Radio and give me a big like, or you can like me on Facebook at Chrissy Hodges, and or friend me and I will friend you back. But I just want to emphasize how much fun this has been for me. I just love connecting with people anyway when it has to do with anything mental illness. I mean, sometimes you read blogs and you just think, oh, I don't know that person, and you don't get a chance to interact with them. And I've had so much fun interacting with people this way because I get comments and I get feedback and stuff like that, and it's, it just makes me feel less alone too. So we're all in this together, and I hope you have a great week. And remember, share your story, because sharing the story doesn't necessarily help. It does change other people, but the biggest benefit is it just starts to heal you, and it starts to give you more confidence and more acceptance of yourself when you start to see that other people understand and may be going through the same thing or a similar situation with a loved one. So keep doing what you're doing, and just know you're not alone. We're all in this together. And if you want to reach out to me, ocd.chrissie@gmail.com. That's ocd.chrissy@gmail.com. Hope you have a great week. Tune in on Thursday at 4:30 at blogtalkradio.com, and I will see you here next week. Bye.